Hello, this is David from DN Cognitive Counseling. What does Brian Rini, Jesse Smollett, the Duke rape case all have in common? If you said they're all false allegations, you are correct. The question is, why is it that people make up false allegations? Why do people want to be seen as a victim? Where does this need come from? When you take a look at society today, what is the reaction that a victim gets? How do people respond to them? Brian Rini, I never would have heard of in a million years if he didn't make a false claim to be somebody else. Jesse Smollett, although an actor on a TV show called Empire, I don't even think I would have ever heard of him or knew who he was if it wasn't for the fact that he made up the lie about being attacked. The Duke rape case. Now, it's true that the women did not come out and get identified, but the attention that they got from people around them was immense. And then, I don't think they actually expected that to become such a public news. But what we do in society is we give lots of attention to people who are victimized. And that is part of the reason why we also see copycats. People that commit suicide. It's very common that people around them now will do the same thing. Name recognition, being seen, becomes such a need because we live in a society today that is so devoid of meaning that we're searching for it. So if I say something that's false or I make something up, I now gave myself some meaning to my life. The biggest thing I want you to think about is what and where does the meaning in your life come from? And is it important to you whether or not you have more fame or more integrity? Is it important to you whether you are known by people around you as being a person that is looked up to and people look up to you? Or is it that you want to be known by millions and millions of people for anything? The Kardashians, the Hiltons, they are famous not necessarily for huge accomplishments or changing things. They're famous for being famous. And the scary part is that we are positively reinforcing over and over again the fact that victimhood is another way of becoming famous. You get on talk shows, people interview you, they want to hear your thoughts because you've been a victim. This is one of the dangers of the idea that people who are victims have any more sense of right and wrong than people who aren't. We don't normally decide whether or not your value is based upon your victimhood. Because what ends up happening then is the victims become the aggressors. I will use the example in the TV show, I don't know how many of you saw, Cobra Kai. It's basically what happens after the Karate Kid movies. Very enjoyable and very good if you haven't seen it. But something very interesting about that TV show, it's on YouTube. The kids who are part of Cobra Kai are all children, well, young adults, who are being victimized by other people. And they join Cobra Kai to, in a sense, embolden themselves and become no longer the victims. But what they learn in no longer being the victim, that they themselves become the aggressor. And they lose the aspect of balance. And if you take a look at what happens with most aspects of victimhood, they also turn to become the very people who they claim that they didn't like, the aggressor. It's a very dangerous message. And it's dangerous to our society, and it's dangerous to our children, and it's a message that you don't want to teach them. It is horrible being a victim of any type of crime. It is horrible to be the victim of racism, sexism. But to believe that because you've been a victim, it somehow elevates you into anything else is just as inappropriate. And I want you to think about that the next time you're teaching your children about the aspect of victimhood. Because we are reinforcing these negative aspects in them, which has created an entire society today that has looked up to victimhood, so much so that we're creating more and more false claims of it because it has greater and greater meaning. If you disagree with me, please tell me why. If you like to subscribe, please do. If you would like this video, please hit like. And if you disliked it, please tell me again why. And I thank you very much for joining me today.